Welcome back to a show about food. I'm Mike Rao, here with my friend Jonathan. He is Jonathan of Fanny Pack Doctor. He is a fantastic physical therapist that's taken his talents to YouTube instead of the office. Thank you. He's joining me today to walk through some exercises that I can do and watch me cook mac and cheese. Literally, like from a box. That's what I'm doing today.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna see how we can spice up a regular mac and cheese and see how that goes.
Yeah. Time to iterate and disrupt the mac and cheese industry. You guys ready? Let's go. Before we fire up the cooking, the Fanny Pack Doctor is going to walk me through some physically therapeutic stretching and mobility exercises to get me warmed up for the task ahead. If you want to see more about this process, visit Jonathan's YouTube channel at Fanny Pack Doctor. Now that he's gotten me loose and ready to roll, on to the cooking. Step 1, boil some water. Here, again, I'm not really measuring out the amount of water. I'm eyeballing it, seeing how much the pasta will absorb, and then from there, I will just add more if necessary.
And just to clarify, this is the first time you've cooked since?
Yep. First time I've cooked since. So it's super close. I'm turning off the heat. I'm adding this primarily as a coagulant and simply to obey the rules of the challenge. Yeah, normally if I were to actually make mac and cheese, I would just make it from scratch. Simple roux, melt cheese into the roux. I'd use something like a camembert or like something interesting or something tasty. But today I'm not using those things. I'm using generic cheesy Dorito seasoning nonsense.
Dehydrated cheese.
Yes. So I was, rather than trying to like make it interesting before or halfway through, I'm gonna take a finished product and show you guys how to make something a little bit more nuanced and interesting. So right now we have 3 primary flavors: salty, umami, and like cheesy. Just 2. Sorry, I lied. So I want to balance this out. I want something a little bit brighter to make this less boring. So instinctively I think about acids, and secondarily I think about spice. I also think about herbs to add that like bright herbaceousness, and I also think about maybe something with a slightly sweet element. Not sold on that, but we'll see where we go. But one thing I definitely know that I do want is black pepper. Regardless of where I go from there, I'm decidedly gonna use black pepper. Secondarily, I'm gonna use Thai chili flakes. Can you take spicy?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
So these Thai chili flakes, I don't know where you can get them in America. You might have to go to like Thai Town. Literally, when I asked my mom for this, she went down and asked an old lady to roast up some of these chilies in a giant bag and bring them back home for me. So I use them in so many things. You may say that this looks like a generic chili from, you know, like the Costco packets. It is nothing like that. There's a smokiness, there's like a nuance, there's a real depth of flavor that you get from these chilies. I haven't tried working with a pepper mill yet, but I imagine it's gonna be a touch challenging. You know, so I can do it, but there's a way easier way to make it work. It involves a sheet tray. Don't worry, it's clean. It's just the
It's super well.
yeah, exactly. And something to go smash with. But so the seasonings go into a pan, and I can use my body weight to crush it.
Tell that to John again, crush your spices.
Yes. Wait, why? You don't like to crush your spices?
He just puts the fennel seeds in.
Oh yeah, it releases some of the oils.
Yo, like cooking it releases the oil.
That too. One of the things people don't realize is when you mill pepper in advance, when you crack it in advance, these oils that are contained within are volatile oils, which means they break down over time, and you're left with a product that is way less tasty than if you crack it right beforehand.
So if I go to the grocery store, I should always do the hand grind version where you grind the whole peppercorns
Indeed.
rather than the pre-ground. black
Strong,
peppers.
strong recommendation for that. Yes. And if you are willing to put in the extra work, also toast them. And now I feel like this is going to be fairly well seasoned and fairly interesting, but I'm not done. I think to this I want to add an herbaceous element. Can you guys take cilantro?
Yeah.
Cilantro? Okay, we'll do cilantro. I also had this idea as I was doing it that this is a good opportunity for me to see how knife skills are currently holding up. Hey, look at this. My fingers are still moderately dexterous. The way to hold the knife, people, I can demonstrate it a little bit more properly with the left hand. You want to take your index finger, grab here, and your thumb and grab here. This gives you the best control of the blade. So you're pinching the knife. The rest of the fingers just wrap around the knife. This allows you to do all the techniques you need to do. A lot of times you see people holding it like, well, I'll do it this hand. You'll see people holding it like this. This is bad because as you're pushing down, if you're really working on it, you can accidentally slip and put your finger into the danger zone. A lot of times people will just grab the handle. That also is bad because you have less control of the blade. Holding it with a pinch with your thumb and your forefinger gives you the maximum balance across your knife.
That is super helpful. I did not know how to use a knife properly.
Really?
I think I do that sometimes, just because it does actually feel more stable, but
Exactly.
nobody's taught me any different.
Yeah, so I'm noticing that, yeah, this is totally fine.
That's awesome. And sometimes you'd be surprised to find, I mean, this is a little bit going into more of the psychological aspects, but if you're really trying to get back into something that you're used to doing or you enjoy doing, I mean, I'm assuming that you enjoy cooking.
I sure do.
Then you actually are able to do a lot more than you think you can.
So
Awesome.
next up, plating. I know this isn't like super over the moon. I would actually do a poached egg, which, you know what? I'm gonna do a poached egg. So a little bit of water at the bottom, and then let's see how I do here. I'm trying not to like explode it. All right, so egg goes into the water. You just want just enough water to cover the surface of the egg. And this is gonna go in there for 1 minute. All right, so just covering that. And a minute later, we'll have a perfectly poached egg. Finger guns.
Microwavable poached eggs.
Look how sad it is. Trying to finger gun. Finger gun.
Maybe you could do this instead and see.
Yes, finger gun.
Modified version of a dual wielding pistol.
Yes,
You get this magnum here.
exactly. No dual elites.
I am not taking a stance on gun laws.
Ha! I like that. You know what we are taking a stance on? We're taking a stance on masking. So mask, people. Don't be dumb. Don't get COVID. Like our president. We can cut that out. I was like,
Oh no! Too soon!
yeah.
That looks better than any poached egg I've ever made.
So one thing to keep in mind, if you end up desiring more than one poached egg, your cup is now hot and that changes the cook time. So please note that and adjust accordingly. So literally,
Oh, look at that.
just because I'm gonna be a little extra, I feel like the sweetness of sriracha will go a long way in cutting the. That's pretty ugly. That's even uglier. Nope, did not fix it. Now it's just ugly. Now it's just super ugly. All right, well, itadakimasu.
Seriously, dude. That looks like the most pro mac and cheese I've seen. Like this is easily a $2 or $3 sign Yelp mac and cheese.
Still looks great to me.
You guys should eat it before it gets cold.
Wow, so good. This is like, yeah, you've elevated a dish that came out of a 50-cent box.
I'm not unhappy with this.
And look at it, it's like,
All right, you should eat. It's
all
getting
right.
cold.
Okay, Jim's gonna eat now.
You have reached the end of another episode of A Show About Food. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I always point in those directions, like there's a like button there and a subscribe button there.
There
But
can be.
There can be,
Yep.
but oftentimes there isn't. So please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and also tune into this guy, which is gonna be, I'm gonna put a box in one
Right
of the
here.
spots.
Yes,
Yeah.
at youtube.com/fannypackdoctor.
See you guys next time.